Welcome to Office Functions. Today we're going to be using our train environment. So this is all fake data that we're using, all scrambled data here that we're using for this training. So there's nothing on here that would be given out for security reasons. So just to let everyone know that. And again, I had said before, this is kind of just taking, dipping your toes in some aspects of what your staff would be doing throughout the day in the office. So we're going to, first of all, I do want to ask this question. Does everyone here know how to get to the documentation? If there's anyone that does not know how, please let us know now in the chat. Take yourself off mute. I'll be happy to run through that, but I don't want to waste your time if everybody knows how to get to it. So I don't see anyone that does not know how to get to the documentation. I will say, right here is the meta documentation. In the meta documentation, you can go to the filter and you can filter on office functions and you can get the agenda for what we're going to run down today. So if you don't know how to do that, let us know now. If so, I'm going to go ahead and move on. And it doesn't look like anyone's struggling with that. So we will go ahead and move on. Okay, so what we're going to start with today and what we see on our agenda, on the PowerSchool Office Functions agenda today is the first thing we're going to look at is a custom student list. This custom student list is just what people like to call really the pretty list, I guess. It's just information that you want to extract to just get a quick list to maybe hand to the principal or the counselor, maybe somebody that's taking a field trip, a group of students that are taking a field trip, you want some information on them. This would be something good to just hand out to somebody and you can retrieve the information quickly. So what I'm going to do is right now I am in the district office. I'm going to switch over to my Meta High School and we're going to go into Meta High School. And I'm just going to grab a group of students. So I'm going to, for my training purposes today, I'm going to grab my group of 10th graders. And you can see here, I do have my group of 10th graders up. And I'm going to search for all of my students who have disabilities. So I kind of want to shrink my list down to just those students. So I'm going to search for those students. I'm going to go to my grade 10. And then I'm going to go to my view field list. Right here in a hyperlink, and you can see here I have all my student fields that I can choose from. In my filter, because I'm looking for my students with disabilities, I'm just going to type in disability, an easy reference for me to find what I'm looking for. Here is my disability field. So once I click on that, I can put my disability. And I know that my disability fields are numbers. So I'm going to put anything that's greater than 0. I want to know my students, greater than, okay, 0. I want to know my students who have a disability. So I want anyone that has a disability, whether it be 1 through 20, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to search for those students just to bring my numbers down here a little bit. So you can see that instantly my current student selections changes to 54 students. As you can see over here at my headers, in my headers, you can see my disability status. So I can see what the status is, what the disability status is of all my students. So if I was looking for a specific disability, I could search for that particular number with what number I know is associated with a particular disability. In this case, I'm just looking for everybody that has a disability. So as you can see, I do have my group of students here. And this is my list of students that I want to print out my custom list, my custom student list. So I'm going to go down here to my group actions menu. And when I click on that group actions menu, I'm going to go down and find my custom student list option. And I can click on that custom student list. And here is where I can build my list. As you can see, I've previously built a list, and I can use the list that I've previously built, and you may have that on your end, or you can build a new list with some additional information. So here you can see that I have put in my field names and I've put in my column titles. This is how I want it to appear on my list. And when I click on fields, you'll see again all those fields that resemble the same student fields that I had before. If I wanted to put just the first name of a student, I could choose just my first name for that first field. And maybe for that second field in my list, I want the last name. And once I start typing again, you'll see that these options will come up and they're easily accessible. You can click on them and make that your option. I'm going to go ahead and change my title name over here to last name, or I'm sorry, first name. And I'm going to change this grade over here to last name since I changed my options here. And then I'm going to go down here, and I still want this information in here. So you can see here where I've chosen in field number 3 or column number 3, I've chosen to use a DAT code, a contact DAT code, which is another option to choose from here. These are your data access tags. And once you click into that, you can see that you have an option to choose if you want to choose any of these particular columns to reference the mother's number, father's contact information, and so on. And there's everything in here where you would assume a contact would need to be. So in this case, I chose mother. And I chose phone number 1 because I want the mother's phone number 1 that we have entered into our system as that contact information. So you can see here that DAT code then automatically fills in my field name. And I can put my column title as mother's phone. And then again, on the line number 4, I've chosen another contact DAT, and I've chosen the father. So you can see that I still have these references down here. I could choose it, if I'd rather do father's email, address, etc. I can choose something different here, but I chose the father's phone 1 as well. And then I'll put father's number here. Oops. Father's phone. And then, you can list up to 15 different items on this particular student list. So you have a lot of good options here to be able to pull for, whatever reason that you need a student list for. I'm not going to go on from here, but again, if you are in your own system and you're building this list right now, you could, go up to 15 different columns. My report title, I'm just going to put my student list for field trip. And that'll be my report title. I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And you'll see my student list pops right up. Here's my title, student list for field trip. I'm in my Meta High School. At this point, I have all of my students' first name, last name, mother's phone, father's phone. I can copy this list and put it in a Word document if I want to do that. I can print it as a CSV file. I can print it just from here and it will print exactly what it looks like here. I can make this a PDF and print it as well. You will see your column filters appear at the top. If I'm looking for just a specific person, I can type in, if I'm looking just for the Christophers, I can type in, okay, it will filter down to just Christopher or Christian. Again, I can do that with each of these columns. Okay, so again, this is why they kind of called it the pretty list, because you can make it and filter it. And then if you want to, however you want to print it, you can filter on you can print on just your filtered items. You can do that as well. Any questions on the custom student list? Okay, I don't see any. All right, we will move on then. Next item on our administrative functions is the quick student export. So I'm going to go back here to my start page. And it's similar to the student list. This is just an export of student data. PowerSchool is very well known for the capability of exporting data out and importing data in for the ease of the districts to be able to find stuff quickly. So maybe you use this export capability if you want to export more data than just the 15 columns that's offered in the custom student list. And these exports can be made into Excel spreadsheets, which is easy to work with, if you're working with a really big group of students. So when you need when you're going to do your quick student export, I'm going to just keep the student selection as for my quick student export as well. That way we don't have to waste time doing that. I'm going to go back down to my group functions. And this time I'm going to look for quick student export. And I'm going to click on that. And here you will see all of the different export fields that you can use. You can see you can use unlimited amount of fields here. It's not just the 15 fields that are in the student list. The good thing about the student export is that the information is saved into the system. So you can see here, just like the student export, that this information was saved from the last time that I used this. So I was able to export previously my last and first name of the student, the grade level, and the student number. Now you'll see here, how did I find those fields? I went down to the hyperlink here at the bottom. I clicked on fields, and here again, you're going to find all of those field names that you can search for your quick export. So, there's multiple things. If I wanted to put that disability field in here, I could enter the disability field in here, and that would also appear on my student list. Any questions between the difference? Oh, I also wanted to point out there are the contact dates also in this one as well. This might be a good time to bring up where you can find other data access tags. If you go up here to your question mark and you go to our PS DAT reference, you'll see lots and lots of other data access tags that you can use for student information, to pull the student information. The ones that are showing that are hyperlinked on the previous quick student export page are the contact dates, but you can also find other data access references here in this document. And you can copy and paste them into the student export. So if I wanted the student number and I wanted to use it from here, I could copy this just by clicking here, copy tag. I can go back in my tabs and I can paste this, and it will paste right into my document. When you go to print this, make sure that you do surround your fields, and that way it'll look nicer in whatever kind of worksheet that you're working with. But once you submit on here, you can then use this information. I'm going to just save my information in an Excel file, and I'm going to show you then what it looks like. And that way you can use this information then if you want to manipulate it a little bit and then import it back in. Let me find my document here, if I can find it. There we go. Okay, here we go. It's taking me a minute, I guess, today. My computer's lagging a little bit. All right, so right here then is the information that I exported out. I know that, I'm part of the scheduling team, and I know a lot of times we use this during scheduling just to export some, maybe course information out. When we export that course information, we can work with that course information here, change the things that we need to change, and we can import that information back in. So again, that is just another way to look at your student data. Okay, any questions on the quick student export? Okay, no questions. We'll move right along then. As we're moving along, the next item on our administrative functions is daily bulletin. So this is on the start page. It's very easy to find. You can put things in here that you want your staff, your teachers, anyone to be aware of for a particular day. Okay, so you can see down here as I go down to the bottom of my screen, I have a daily bulletin set up already. So it says the daily bulletin, it's for Thursday, October 2nd, which is today. And I've put a bulletin in here that I want my administrative staff to see when they log into their system. So the way you get to that daily bulletin is you'll see over here to the right, you'll see a gear. If you click on that gear, you will see all of the different bulletins that you have. You may have, 10 or 20 different bulletins up here that you may want to reuse. This one, for this reason, I only have one bulletin. If I click into the one that I have up there already, I can change the dates. I can make it, I can make the span of dates longer. I can change my audience. I can make it, instead of just my admin users, I can make it for teacher users, or I can make it for my public, for my students' parents. I can create a sort order if that's what I want to do. That determines the order in which the bulletin appears on the screen. And then I can change anything needed in my body. And I can actually manipulate it in a different language if I need to do that. But I can put anything in the body, and then all I need to do is submit that, and it will change the information in my daily bulletin. Now, if I wanted to create a new bulletin, and I'm sure that you saw this earlier, but up to the right-hand corner, you can create a new bulletin. And again, it's just going to give you those same fields to fill in. And you'll just need to fill in the item, body, any information that you want, and what target audience you want that to go to. So it's really helpful. I think it's a great way of letting your teachers know what's going on in the district for the day, letting your parents know updates of events. They don't always go to the school website for that information. So a lot of times, a lot of our districts use this daily bulletin just for that particular reason. If you want to put something fancy in your item body down here, you can use these as well, and you can copy links and put them in here as well. Okay, I'm going to move on now to the sign in screen message. This is a district office item. So if you do not have district access, this would be something maybe your district leader would do, or your principals, your counselors. They would be able to access the sign-in message screen. How we do that is we go to district management, we go to display preferences, and then you can go to the custom sign-in screen message. Here you can customize whether you want the student and parent sign-in message to display, the teacher sign-in message to display. You can do a substitute teacher, and you can do your administrative sign-in message. Right now, we just have that this is a meta-train environment with scrambled data. We also have the suicide and crisis hotline, which I believe many districts are including on their sign-in message. So once anyone signs into that to PowerSchool, that message will pop up. You can again adjust it the way you want it to be seen to whatever audience you've sent it to. You can again copy those links and put links in these messages, these custom sign-in messages. So if I were to sign out and I'm going to sign back in, here's where you would see that message. This is a meta train environment with scrambled data, and I also had the suicide and crisis hotline. You don't even have to sign into the actual PowerSchool. It would be on your sign-in screen to sign in. Okay. Any questions about the sign-in screen? Right? No questions. I should have put a little like joke or something in here. I feel like I'm just here by myself today. At least Steve's with me, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, we do have a couple on from our team. So yes, I'm very glad that others are here as well. Maybe it's just like everybody's ready for the weekend, ready for today to be over with, ready for Friday. So I do have something else too, a notifications banner that I wanted to show you. This is a great customization. If you go to applications and you go to our notifications, you will see that you can put many notifications at the top of your screen. So maybe you don't want that sign-in message. Maybe you just want that big notification banner to come up when they sign in and say, it comes up in red, it's something that's very bold, stands out to their page. This is just, I think it's a great idea to do this for your staff. If you really need them to know, what's going on in the district maybe today, you can use that as well. You can see here, I have a few different messages that I put on here. Come and support the team Friday night. You can see once you click into those messages, or notifications, I should say, I can set them for different portals. So I can set them for my admin, for my teachers, for my public, and I can just do one if I want to. I can just make this, make sure that my admin sees a particular notification. I can set a date for my start date and my end date for notifications, and I can do it at my current school only, or I can do it at all schools. One mistake that I made when I was setting up these notifications is I forgot to click this enabled button. And I kept thinking, why are my notifications not showing up on my pages? And I had to go back and I had to click that enable button. So I don't know why that is. It's often missed though. I know that we've even had cases about that. I've put in a notification, it's not working. I don't know why. It's almost like it's like I'm magically hidden, but it's really there. I don't know how to explain it. But either way, that enabled box must be check marked if you do want it to show on the page. I'm going to go back to my other notifications here. Hopefully this back button will work today. All right, we'll just go here. There we go. You can see here that I have this one. This one's not showing up on our notifications because I have it as I have it disabled. So you can also see that I have two that are supposed to be showing up right now. They're both enabled, and you can put as many as you want to on there. When you go to your start page, and I am signed in as an admin, you can see that there's announcement 1 of 2. There could be an announcement 1 of 5 if you want it that way. It will scroll through, or you can click on it and it will show your announcements then at the top of the page. Okay. So that's your notifications banner. Okay. So now we're going to kind of go into some reports. I'm going to show you how to print a report for a single student. I'm going to show you how to print a report for a group of students. And then we'll get into some mailing labels here at the end then. I'm going to go ahead and just run a report for a single student. So I'm going to get back into my Meta High School here. And I'm just going to go grab a student We're just going to do, actually, I'm going to grab the student because I know the student has some things on him, her. And you can see that if I want to, I'm just going to do just print a page like this. That way you can just see some information on a student. And you see that right here, I have my one student pulled up. This is the only student that I'm looking at right now, even though in my carousel, I have all of my 10th grade students here. I'm only looking at this student right now. Over here to your right of the student are three icons. If you click on the printer, you will see that this is where you print a report for just one student. Okay, you're only looking at Abigail Fake Adams right now. Okay, so it's asking me to print the report for, it says the Abigail Adams. Which report to print? I can choose which report I want to print for this particular student. Now, these are reports that I have set up in my system. So someone in your district has made the reports that maybe you are seeing on your end. So what you're seeing on your end may not be what I'm seeing, what we're looking at here, what the same as what we're looking at here in our train environment. So I probably have a lot more here than what you have. But these are different reports that are set up. I'll kind of just really quickly go into that a little bit later about some letters that you can set up. That would be something, if you want a specific letter set up, that would be something that you would, put a case into us. We would kind of just walk you through how to do that. A lot of times, those letters are found in maybe another area that you don't have to go through, the work of actually creating a report. So that's why if there's a particular report you want that you just cannot find anywhere, sometimes we can help you find that. If not, we'll help you create it. And that's where my buddy Steve comes in. That is his niche. He is very, very, very helpful and very good at doing that. So, that's who most likely who you would chat with if you need a particular report. But anyway, this is where you can choose what report you do want to print.
Can I throw a quick side note in, Kim?
Yeah, go ahead.
In that drop down, your form letters and mailing labels are at the top, and then it goes to your report card templates, and then your object reports are at the bottom of your drop down, just for reference.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Steve. Right now, I'm just gonna pick a random fees invoice one. If printing student schedule, you can print the student schedule if you want to. You can do an enrollment as of if you want to. If printing a fee list, you only include transactions conducted during the current school year, or you can choose a time that you want to choose if you're doing that fees list. You can put a watermark on the letter if you'd like to. You can do, if you're using a watermark, you can do an overlay or a watermark. When to print. If you want to print right now, you can do ASAP, or you can schedule a time when to print. If you're printing something that is related to attendance, you can use the update House Bill 410 attendance, and you can use that as well. Again, this is just printing a report for one particular student. Now, in my fake environment, we don't have a lot of information on our students. So even if I printed this report, it would probably print nothing. So just so you know, when you go into those reports, those are the reports that you have created or we have set up for you and helped you create. So I just wanted to kind of point this out, that this is how you print a report for just one student. When you're printing a report for a group of students, I'm going to go back here, leave this page. I'm not going to print that. I'm just going to just keep my current selection here because I've been working with these students then all along. I'm going to choose my group of students again, and I can go down to my group actions menu again, and I can print a student report on here. And it's under student reports section, and it's print a student report. And now you can see, I mean, it looks similar, has all the information, the same information as print a report on a student does. But you can see that when I choose which report I want to print, when you see for which students, you can see I have the selected 385 students. Do I want to print all records in a single batch, print only the first 2 records? I can do any of those options when choosing a group of students. I can also choose what order I print them in when choosing a group of students. Again, you're going to see the same information down here. You can print the schedules. You can choose, your fee dates, etc. If you're using attendance, you can choose that House Bill 410 attendance. So again, the printing for one student and printing the group for a group of students is pretty much the same, except for you're using that group actions menu to get all of those students that are within your selected group of students. As you're working through PowerSchool, and you probably all know this, but there are several different ways to get to things. The group actions menu is just a little bit quicker way when you have that group of students pulled up. You can go through lots of different ways through your menus over here to the left. You're going to see, as you navigate through PowerSchool, you're going to see lots of maybe the same pages. And if you're like us that work here at Meta, sometimes, sometimes a lot of us just use the search up here to find the pages. And then, we'll also use the menu over here and we'll be like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know that that's where that existed, but they've moved some things around with our new enhanced menu in the last couple years, and so you'll come across lots of different pages that you'll see throughout your menus over here, as well as what you're seeing in your group actions menu. So again, that group actions is just an easy way to find things for when you have selected a group of students. Okay, so we will move along then to our print mailing labels for groups of students. So we're just going to keep that group of students, and we're going to go back to that group actions menu, and we're going to print mailing labels. And for some reason, I always forget where the print mailing labels are. So I'm sure that I missed it. I always forget where it's at. Oh, gosh. Right there. It's under student administration, and why it just crosses, I don't know why I skip it every single time, but print mailing labels is under that student administration over on your group actions menu. And it's self-explanatory pretty much. You print mailing labels for the 385 selected students. You can use this mailing label layout. These are layouts that you have created. Maybe we often, you see down here where it says seniors and Kim beside it. Oftentimes when we have you create reports that you just use or mailing labels that you want a certain way, once you're setting up a report, you'll know this, but once you create that report, oftentimes we have you put your name by it. That way you're going to know, and it's going to be easy to find. If I'm going in here and I know that I just want my senior labels printed the way I set them up, you'll see that that label layout is created, and I can just pick that really easily. So that's something when you do set up your mailing labels or set up your object reports or something similar, we often tell you, put your name by it or put your initials by it. I know that that's what we kind of teach you in PowerSchool 101 is to do that. So you can also see how many pages do I want to print? Do I want to print all pages? Do I want to print them in a certain order? When do I want to print those? And what is my output? So again, kind of just very self-explanatory. I can click on the mailing label layout hyperlink. And when I do so, maybe if my computer is going to work with me today, come on, you can do it. I guess this is a good time for me to take a breather. I sometimes get wordy. There we go. here's my mailing labels that I have already created. Okay, if I want to create a new label, I can do so here. I can create a new label with different, measurements and, what I want to call it. Again, we offer offer suggestions of putting your initials in there. What content I want to pull, I can use fields from my student fields, and I can put that information in here. And then I can put obviously the layout selection of columns and width and margins and things like that. I could also make this available for my teachers to print. So if I create a label that I think they're going to want to use, I will go ahead and allow my teachers to print these labels as well.
And those dimensions on the width and
Mhm.
the layout, there are two places you can find them. When you get a box of labels, if you open up, the dimensions should be on the inside of the lid somewhere. Like if you're doing an Avery label, Avery, what is it, 51, whatever.
Mhm.
The dimensions are inside of the lid. And you can also find them by typing on the mailing label in a Word documentation. It also gives you the layout dimensions of a particular size label.
Correct. And there's nothing more frustrating. I don't know about you guys, but there's nothing more frustrating as when you go to print a label and they all just print crazy and not the margins that you put or not the margins that you think are exact the exact size of the label. So yes, thank you, Steve, for pointing that out. That's a good thing to let everybody know. Okay, so again, I feel like that's fairly self-explanatory too. I'm just kind of showing you how to get to the areas here. Again, I can go back into one of my labels that I've already created and I can tweak it, if it's just not looking right, or if I want to put some different fields in there, I can do that as well. So there are options here of printing those. Okay. So we're going to move right along then. And one other thing I wanted to talk to you about was class rosters. So I don't even know if this is actually on our agenda, but I thought it was important. Yeah, it is on our agenda. So class rosters, if you go to data and reporting and you go to reports and you go to system reports, and if you go to the very bottom here, not to the very bottom, but almost to the very bottom, you'll see that under student staff listings, you'll see class rosters. Now, if you're looking in your environment right now, you may not have access to this page. I just wanted to point it out. Your district administration will give certain people certain accesses depending on what they need or what their job title is, I guess, throughout the district. So you may not have access to this page. I'm actually going to jump to our middle school because I want to show you, if you do have access, how you can get to this particular class roster report. I really like it. Class rosters. And I jumped to my middle school because I know I actually have teachers in there. So you can print rosters for it, and you can hold your control key down to make multiple selections of teachers. So if I just want my first two teachers, I can print those class rosters. Do I want every single period? I can choose those here. Do I want to include students who are currently enrolled in class or who are enrolled at a certain date? I can make my heading a different font if I want to do that. Again, I can customize this for size, line height, style, etc. I can print my heading on whatever page is the option here. I can first page, all pages. And the heading text, I can choose what I want to put in there by choosing, again, clicking on that hyperlink and choosing those fields that I want to print. I can also customize my column font, again, the size and line, etc. I can use my roster font. So I can kind of customize this whole report for the way I want to view this report. So I thought that was really something good to point out, that that this class rosters list is something important, something that your secretaries may need. Again, just, to have on hand, or to give to the principal, whatever is needed. Another thing, this is not on your agenda, but another thing I want to point out is a teacher's schedules. So if you go up here to people and you go to staff, and again, you may not see all of the stuff that I'm seeing. I have full access to this training environment, but you may not. Down here under staff management is teacher schedules. And you'll see over here then to my left are all the teachers that are in my building. And if I chose, I don't know if this teacher has a schedule, but I'm going to look here. If I choose, yes, yay. If I choose one of my teachers, then I can see what period or expression my teacher is teaching, what term they're teaching. So this may say S1, S2, Q1, Q4, depending on your term that the teacher is teaching, the course that the teacher is teaching, and the name of the course the teacher is teaching, what section that the teacher is teaching, what room, the enrollment. Here, I could take attendance. I do have a seating chart. I don't in this I don't in here, but I could have a seating chart. If I click on that hyperlink enrollment, it's going to list all of those students that are in that class. And I love this because I think it's a very quick access to the names of the students that are in, a particular teacher's class. So again, this is just something I wanted to point out. It's not on your agenda, but it's something that I think people could use if they knew where it was at. Once you get here too, I mean, the options are endless, really. You can click on this student, you can go right into this student, and maybe you want to look at that student's attendance. You can click on any of these students and look on, their individual student pages. Another thing is you can make your current selection of students here. So you can work with that selection of students just by making them your current student selection. If you have, go ahead.
I'm sorry, could you back up and show us how you got to this particular screen, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was on Jason Adams is who I was looking at. So I'm going to back up all the way because again, this is not on our agenda. So it's not going to show you how to get here. If you go to your people menu and you go to your staff and you go to teacher schedules under staff management, that's how I got there. And then I just clicked on a teacher and it brought up the teacher schedule. Now from here, I went to the enrollment. So I just clicked on the enrollment hyperlink and I knew I had 20 students in there and that's where I brought up my 20 students. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So no, it's okay. So again, I can look at each student. I can make that my selection. You may not have this, a lot of people use this to register students into different drop-in classes, but we're not going to get into that today. That's kind of, taking a deep dive into some scheduling things. I do want to point out though, you can also click on the dropped students, which I don't know if there's any in this fake environment and it might be loading too many, but you can click on the drop students and you can have your active students. You can view both of those in there. I'm going to click out of this just because I don't know what it's going to bring up in this fake environment. And I'm going to go back in here really quick because there's one other thing I wanted to show you. You can do your pre-registered students too. So if this is a good way to look at your maybe your class lists before school starts. If you have, if you're in an elementary building, which I don't think anybody is in an elementary building here, but if you were, your kindergarten students or your preschool students coming into kindergarten, those would be some of your pre-registered students. I have my detailed view on. You can turn the detailed view off and just get your your student information here. If you just want to kind of look at names, you can still click on each student. You can still make this student your current selection. But I like this detailed view. I like to see when the student entered and exited, what grade level, and so on. But you can use that detailed view. When you're going through PowerSchool and you're just kind of learning the new pages and things like that, there are several different pages with this detailed view on it. So make sure that is an option for you. If you need that detail, if you want to have those details listed on there, you can turn that on for yourself. But again, that's on several different pages, but this is a good one to show that on. One other thing I do want to mention to you is the enrollment summary. That's kind of a good thing to look at as well. So if I go down here to school enrollment and I click into enrollment summary, of course, no students found at the area. I can show, and it would show here if I had students enrolled. Again, this is our fake environment, so it doesn't have any students enrolled. But if I did, I could show all of my active enrollments right now, or I could just show my current selection that I'm working with. So if I'm working with that grade 10 group of students that I've been working with today, I can just show that current selection. I can also show an enrollment date. So as of today, or I can look back up as of last week. I'm just going to change over to my high school here really quick just to see if I have anything in there, just to be able to show you what that looks like. While we're waiting on this, are there any questions that you have of things that we have covered today? Again, I know this is not a deep dive. Some of you I know have been working on PowerSchool for several years, and probably this is just a refresher. But again, we encourage you to sign up for our trainings. We can go to the Meta website. We have a new calendar. Our trainings, there's new trainings being added every single day. We also encourage you to come to our Power Hours. I was so happy to see that we had, several people here today, because that's very encouraging. Because the more people that we get coming to our Power Hours, the more Power Hours we will have, and hopefully, get more information out to our districts and how to use, different screens throughout PowerSchool. I am going to do that school enrollment here just really quickly to see if it'll come up in my Meta High School. Yeah, it does. Good. So I see now I only have my 11th grade students enrolled. That's okay. And you can see here our headings. These are the headings that I have in here, what total I have in each grade. And right now I'm looking at the ethnicity, but if you want to look at them as a whole, you can see that I am looking at all of our grade levels and all of the totals. So in a normal school district, you would show totals throughout all of your different grade levels too. And it's just a great summary of your students. You can click on them and you can see those students that are listed. Again, this is not a great show of what it really can do, but obviously because I'm in the fake environment. But if you look at this in your district, you will see that it is a very, very, very good reference to see all of your students as a whole. Thank you so much for coming. Again, it's so nice to have a lot of people on, and to ask any questions, just to talk to each other about any issues, problems, whatever. So we do thank you for coming today.